guys, Lisa Petty here from SOCCER.COM. I'm here with Julie Foudy. I think you used to play soccer one time.
Yes,
a little bit of
long
soccer
time ago.
Back in the day. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Women's Professional Soccer League, which is getting ready to start up here. You were a former player in San Diego when WUSA was still around.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what went wrong with WUSA and then what the WPS, how it's different.
The WSA spent a lot of money. That was one problem. Very quickly.
Yeah.
No, it had. I think the good thing is we learned a ton from the WSA. We had some great owners and operators with a lot of the cable guys. John Hendricks with Discovery, Amos Hostetter, but we just tried to go too big too early, I think was the problem, and then dug ourselves a huge hole financially and tried to get out of it. And the economy at that time wasn't great either. It was during the tech bubble burst. We've seemed to hit those perfectly, the timing of that. I don't know how we managed that, but so we we lasted for 3 years, and then we always figured as players that it would come back one day, because it wasn't a case of the product not being good. We were getting a steady stream of fans, about 4,000 a game. In San Diego where I played, we had this awesome little stadium that set 7,000 that we almost packed every game. Great atmosphere. The communities loved it. It was just a question of, can we get our expenses under control and make it work, because our revenue stream was staying consistent. And so that's what I think is good about this league, this WPS league, is that Women's Professional Soccer, they're calling it this time around, is that the business plan is much smarter. It's smaller, it's more organic, it's done so that we're not going to spend all this money up front.
Right.
And maybe not as many people are aware that a league is coming back, but the idea is that gradually we'll get there. And hopefully it'll be around for many, many years because of the smarter business plan.
So how many teams will there be in the WPS?
There will be 7 teams.
Okay.
There were 8 teams last time, a little bit different this time. 2 on the West Coast, San Jose and LA, so that stays the same. It was San Jose and San Diego before.
Okay.
So San Jose and LA. And LA, of course, has Marta, the Brazilian stud. Who is so much fun to watch, so that's exciting. Christiane, who's another incredible Brazilian player, is playing for Chicago. So in the Midwest, they have Chicago, St. Louis. So it's 2 on the West, 2 in the Midwest, and then 3 on the East Coast. Boston, New York, New Jersey, which is one team, which is where my husband is, and then Washington, D.C.
Now, is the plan kind of to let it pick up some pace and then hopefully expand in the future? I mean, is there always the option for adding additional cities?
Yeah, and actually I think, I don't know what the current list is right now, but there already are a few cities, like Philadelphia is in the mix, Atlanta is in the mix, maybe even Canada, Vancouver. I don't know the latest on that, but there is definitely some cities who want to jump in 2010, which is good. And even with this economy, they're still saying, we want to be there, which is an encouraging sign.
Right. Now, what is your role with the WPS? Do you have a specific role, or you're just kind of...
I'm just like chief water girl,
chief
hooligan.
Do you have a team you're pulling for?
Well, my husband is the GM and head coach of New Jersey, Sky Blue, so I'm a little bit, biased that way, a lot biased that way. But no, I have been advising, in the middle stage where we went from the WSA to this stage. Tanya Antonucci, who is the commissioner, is my buddy from Stanford. We played together there, and so have been conversing with her a lot about what's going on in the past. Not so much now that they're up and running, but in the beginning stages. So I will do whatever I can to help support it. I'm not playing. People ask me all the time.
That was gonna be my next question.
No, I'm not playing. Heck no.
Definitely not.
Strap the oxygen tank on. I couldn't. You need like a 24-hour paramedics close by if I was. If
they
I
could
was
arrange
playing.
that, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, it would be ugly.
I want to ask you, how important do you think it is to have the WPS, as something for younger girls going through like the clubs, playing in college, like to have that to work towards like that extra level?
It's huge. Huge for the college players to have that, so that when they get out of college, it's not a question of I train on my own, or what do I train with, a W League team, which doesn't pay anything. And then you lose them because they end up going into their career because they just can't afford to live like that. So it'll help the national team. You know, we look back over the years, players like Shannon Box on the national team, Abby Wambach, those are two huge players on the U.S. team who would have not had a look on the U.S. team if it weren't for the WSA, the past league. Abby Wambach had been cut like 3 times on the U.S. team. You know, she wasn't fit. She wasn't. You know, she didn't come in. You know, game fitness, and so April cut her a couple times before she started excelling at the league level, and then it was like, all right, let's give her another chance.
I'm glad they're
so
glad they did that.
Yeah, she wouldn't, you know, be in a U.S. jersey perhaps today.
Right.
If it weren't for that.
Have you had a chance to look at the rosters at all yet?
Durwood, can you keep him under control over there or what? Come on, my man.
He's good.
He's good. That's actually Durwood making the noise.
Give him a pacifier. Give Durwood the pacifier.
I know.
That's right.
Have you had a chance to look at the rosters yet for the teams at all?
A little bit. I mean, I know like the international and the national team players. I'm not as familiar with the collegiate, you know, players that are coming out.
Some of the new faces.
Yeah.
And looking at what you've seen, can you say early on there's like a team that you think is going to really be at the top, or is it
New Jersey? No question.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Obligated to say that, right? You gotta keep
no,
pushing.
actually, it's interesting because speaking with my old ladies that are still playing, like Brandy and Christine Lilly. Brandy,
is Lily playing?
Yeah, she just had a kid.
We were wondering about that.
Had a kid in July and is coming back. Brandy is 40 now.
And they're not calling you up on the phone telling you, Julie, you have to come back
better. I said, "What, you crazy?" When I talk to them, I'm like, "How you doing? Are you sore? What are you doing?" They said that the players around them, they think are collectively it's better than the last league. They said the level they think is better. I said, is that just because you're getting older and slower?
They just seem like they're just flying by.
But they said, no, they said it's really good. And then on top of that, you add in, you got these incredible international players, the Brazilians. You got, on Ian's team in New Jersey, I was watching him last night down here in North Carolina. He's got a kid, Colette, in the middle from McComb from Australia, who's just this awesome playmaker who can pass the ball and do just really clever on the ball, very good. He's got Rosanna, who's a Brazilian. He's got an English center back. So it's neat to see that you've got the best in the world wanting to play again here in the United States. And now kids can watch it on a weekly basis, which is always the challenge with the national team. You come into a city every few years if that city's lucky, and you never connect with a community or a fan base as well. And so that's what I loved about the league. When I was playing in San Diego, you'd be out grocery shopping and people would be walking up talking about the game, and kids would come up, and so there's just there's a better relationship with young kids, and they can watch their role models on a weekly basis, which is neat.
Well, you're not going to be on the field, but any chance of you doing any game analysis for the WPS at all?
Well, I am ESPN only, and it's on Fox Soccer. So Fox, unless ESPN picks up some of the playoffs, which I hope they do, then I would probably do some. But yeah, it's going to run on Fox Soccer Channel on I think Saturdays, so which is good.
That would be exciting.
It's going to be on air.
I think we're both excited to see what the league has to bring, and on the WPS, that's Julie Foudy here at SOCCER.COM.